14 days ago, my neighbor's lawn looked like a dirt lot with weeds poking through. Today it's green from fence to fence, thick enough to hide your shoes. And he did the whole thing himself using a plan I handed him on one sheet of paper. Meanwhile, most folks spend an entire summer dumping bag after bag of store-brand fertilizer on a lawn that just keeps getting thinner. Here's the thing. I spent years convinced a tired lawn needed a full tear-out. Kill it all, till it under, start from scratch. Then I watched a turf specialist from my local extension office walk a homeowner through a 2-week reset using tools most of us already own. And that's when it clicked for me. You don't need to nuke the lawn. You need to work with what's there in the right order. Today I'm going to walk you through the exact 14-day plan I now use on every ugly lawn I'm asked to fix. And stay with me to the end, because I'll share the one overnight trick I use around day 10 that makes the grass look 2 shades greener before it's even finished filling in. Let's walk through it together. Now, I want to be straight with you. I did this the wrong way for years. I'd see a patchy, weedy lawn, and my first move was to dump a weed and feed product across the whole thing, water it in, and hope for the best. Sometimes it helped a little. Most of the time, the weeds came right back. The thin spots stayed thin, and I'd spend another $40 the next month doing the same thing. If that sounds like your routine, you're not alone. I was right there with you. Then I started paying attention to what the soil and the grass were actually telling me, and everything changed. Here's what I learned that reset my thinking. A lawn isn't really a patch of grass. It's a system. Soil, roots, blades, and moisture all working together. When one piece is broken, every other piece struggles. Research from most state turf programs backs this up. Weak, compacted soil can't hold water. Water can't reach roots. Roots can't push new blades. And weeds fill in the gaps because they thrive in exactly those conditions. Once you understand that, the 14-day plan makes perfect sense. You're not chasing problems one at a time. You're resetting the whole system in the right order so the grass can do what it already wants to do, which is grow. It's simpler than you think. All right, let's get into it. The first thing you're going to do on day 1 is mow the lawn shorter than you normally would. Drop your mower down to about 2 inches. I know that sounds aggressive, especially if you've been told to mow high, but here's why this matters at the start. A tired lawn is usually hiding under tall, floppy grass and dead thatch. You can't treat what you can't see. Cutting low exposes the weeds, opens up the canopy so sunlight can reach the soil, and lets your products actually make contact with the surface. Bag those clippings. Don't mulch them back in. You want the debris off the lawn so the next steps work properly. If your mower blade is dull or nicked up, put a fresh one on before you start. Trust me on this one. A sharp blade cuts cleanly instead of tearing, and that single change alone makes the grass look healthier within a week. Now, once that first mow is done, you're ready for the real transformation to start. On day 2, we're going after the weeds. For weed control, I use a selective herbicide called Tenacity. I've tried a lot of products over the years, and I keep coming back to this one because it kills the common lawn weeds. Things like crabgrass, clover, dandelion, and foxtail, without killing the grass. You mix it in a pump sprayer following the label, usually about 1 teaspoon per gallon for roughly 1,000 square feet. Add a surfactant so it sticks to the leaves, and spray the whole lawn evenly. Here's what's nice about this product. The weeds will turn white within about a week as they die off, which is actually the sign it's working. The conventional approach is to dump granular weed and feed and hope it lands on the right plants. What I've found works better is spraying a liquid selective herbicide directly on the foliage, because you get far better contact and far better kill. Give it about 7 days to do its job before you move on. Now, while the herbicide is working in the background, we don't wait around. On day 3 or 4, we're going to prep the soil so new seed has somewhere to take hold. This is where aeration comes in. Rent a core aerator from your local hardware store. You're looking for the kind that pulls small plugs of soil out of the ground. not the spike kind that just pokes holes. Run it over the lawn in 2 directions, once north to south, once east to west. You want to see plugs scattered across the surface every 3 to 4 inches. Here's why this matters. Those plug holes do 2 jobs. They relieve compaction so water and air reach the root zone, and they act like tiny, perfectly spaced planters for the seed you're about to spread. Leave the plugs on top. They'll break down with the next rain and add organic matter back to the soil. It's the single easiest way to turn hard, tired ground into something that can actually support healthy grass. Before I take you into the seeding step, I want to pause for just a moment. What I'm showing you today is the short version of a much bigger system I've put together for homeowners who are tired of fighting weeds and thin grass every single season. It's called Larry's 30-Day Weed Kill Protocol. And right now you can grab it for $17 instead of the usual $47 at lawncarelarrybooks.com. Inside, I walk you through the 7 most common lawn weeds and how to identify them, the exact pre-emergent and post-emergent timing for your region, spot treatment techniques, and a full seasonal maintenance calendar. You can scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description. All right, let's keep going. On day 4 or 5, right after aerating, you're going to overseed. This is the part that actually builds your new lawn. Pick one quality seed and stick with it. For cool season lawns in zones 3 through 7, I use Jonathan Green Black Beauty Ultra. It handles heat, drought, and foot traffic better than most blends, and it blends in beautifully with existing grass. For warm season lawns in zones 8 through 10, you're usually working with Bermuda or Zoysia, which you'll want to plug or sprig rather than seed for quick results. For cool season overseeding, put down about 4 pounds of seed per 1,000 square feet using a broadcast spreader. Walk in overlapping rows so the coverage is even. The seed is going to fall into those aeration holes naturally, which is exactly what we want. Those holes act like little nurseries, protecting the seed from birds and drying out too fast. Right after the seed goes down, apply a starter fertilizer. This is the only fertilizer you should use at this stage. A starter fertilizer is higher in phosphorus, which is what new seedlings need to build strong roots. Regular lawn fertilizer can burn new seed, so don't substitute. Follow the bag rate for your square footage and spread it evenly. Now, watering. Days 5 through 14. This is the most important thing you'll do. New seed must stay consistently damp until it germinates, which for most cool season varieties takes 7 to 14 days. Here's what works for real people with real schedules. Water in the morning before you leave the house for about 10 to 15 minutes per zone, and again in the early evening for the same amount of time. If you can squeeze in a midday watering, great, but 2 waterings a day will get the job done. You're not trying to soak the ground. You're trying to keep the top inch of soil damp, like a wrung-out sponge. Skipping even 1 full day of watering at this stage can kill half your seed. So set a phone reminder if you need to. And stay off the lawn. No kids, no dogs, no wheelbarrows until those seedlings are up. Around day 10 to 12, you're going to start seeing green fuzz across the lawn. That's your new grass coming in. Once those seedlings reach about 3.5 inches tall, which usually lines up right around day 14 for the fastest germinating patches, you're ready for your first mow. Set the mower to 3 inches for this first cut. Make sure that blade is still sharp. Mow slowly, don't turn sharply, and bag the clippings. The ground is still soft and the roots are still shallow, so you're being gentle on purpose. Don't take more than 1/3 of the blade height off in any single mow. That rule applies forever, by the way, not just at the start. From here on, you're in maintenance mode. Mow once or twice a week at a height of 3 to 3.5 inches for cool season grass, or 1.5 to 2.5 inches for warm season varieties. Around week 6, put down a standard lawn fertilizer and keep fertilizing every 6 to 8 weeks through the growing season. Now let's talk about the patterns I see trip people up over and over. The first pattern is switching seed brands every year. One spring it's a big box bargain mix. Next fall it's a premium blend. The year after that it's whatever was on sale. You end up with a patchwork lawn where every section looks and grows differently. Pick one quality seed, stick with it for at least 3 seasons, and your lawn starts to look uniform. The second pattern is cutting too short. A lot of folks scalp their lawn thinking it'll mean less mowing. What actually happens is you expose the soil to sunlight, which is exactly the condition crabgrass needs to germinate. Keep your cutting height in that 3 to 3.5 inch range for cool season grass, and you'll shade out most weeds before they ever start. The third pattern is skipping the starter fertilizer. I did this myself for years. I'd throw seed down on bare dirt and wonder why half of it never came up. Starter fertilizer isn't optional. It's the food supply that turns a seed into a rooted plant. And the fourth pattern is overwatering. More water isn't better. Deep, infrequent watering once established, about 1 inch per week including rainfall, builds deep roots. Daily shallow watering builds shallow roots, and shallow roots can't survive a dry spell. Now let me share that bonus I teased at the beginning. Around day 10, when your new seedlings are just starting to show and your existing grass is still looking a little tired, I apply a light dose of liquid iron to the whole lawn. I use a chelated iron product, mixed at about 3 ounces per gallon for every 1,000 square feet, sprayed evenly across the lawn on a cool, overcast morning. Iron doesn't feed the grass the way fertilizer does. What it does is deepen the green color of every existing blade within 24 to 48 hours. It's the difference between a lawn that looks pale and tired and a lawn that looks deep, rich green. It won't burn your new seedlings at that low rate. It's inexpensive, and it makes the whole 14-day transformation look dramatically better in photos and in person. I wish someone had told me about this years ago. Here's the thing. What I've walked you through today is the 14-day reset. But a lawn that stays thick and weed-free long-term needs a real system behind it, especially when it comes to weed control through the seasons. That's exactly what Larry's 30-day weed kill protocol is built for. For $17, you get the full day-by-day plan I use, identification guides for the 7 worst lawn weeds, pre-emergent and post-emergent timing charts, spot treatment techniques that actually work, and a complete seasonal maintenance calendar. No fluff, just the plan. Scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description and grab a copy while it's still at the discounted price. So that's how you take the ugliest lawn on the street and turn it around in 14 days. Not by tearing it out, not by spending a fortune, just by resetting the system in the right order. Drop a comment below and let me know what your lawn looks like today, and I'll see you in the next one.